Hi, this is Chris, and this is my third video in my prostate cancer video diary series. Now, in my last video, I talked about PSA level testing, and specifically the importance of men before the age of 50 knowing their PSA level as a way to manage their risk for prostate cancer. Now, today, I've decided to talk about something that I'm really not that comfortable sharing. However, when I decided to create this video diary series, I wanted to challenge myself to be as open and honest as I could be about all aspects of my diagnosis. So I've decided to talk about some of the emotional challenges that I have faced after receiving the prostate cancer diagnosis. Now, if you watched my first video, you may know that I'm planning to run the 2018 Austin Marathon just 3 days prior to my prostate removal. I'm doing so to help raise awareness and money for the Livestrong Foundation, who provides services for other families who are battling cancer. Now, this morning was one of those times where I woke up early to go out for a run in preparation for that event. And it was probably somewhere between, I don't know, maybe mile 7 and mile 8 that I decided to take a break. And I did so because I was somewhat overwhelmed with emotion. It was definitely nothing physical. And I don't know exactly what happened. On a day-to-day basis, I try not to think about my diagnosis. I try to stay focused on other things like taking care of my 8 and 9-year-old boys, or work. I plan to work up until the day before my surgery, and so that's always a great distraction. But I'd be lying to you if I said that it's not the first thing I think about in the morning, or probably the last thing that I think about before I go to bed at night. It's really in those quiet moments, in those moments of isolation, that I allow those thoughts to kind of creep in. And I think that's what happened this morning. I think that, I was probably maybe an hour into the run and had started to think about, what the next few weeks and months would be like. So for me, this is not something that I had really prepared myself for. Not being someone who considers myself very emotional, not someone that cries very easily in the past, this dealing with the emotions around the diagnosis has been something new and something challenging for me. What I wanted to say to other men who may be facing a similar diagnosis is that that's okay. That it's okay to be overwhelmed and not know how to deal with both, for me, the sadness and anger that I've been feeling. Definitely a lot of sadness in the beginning. I can remember the day that I received confirmation that I did have prostate cancer, leaving the doctor's office, not his actual office, just the room. My husband came with me and stayed in the room and listened to some of the treatment options. I had to step out, however, and really just take a moment. And that was probably the first time I'd cried in a long time. In the days that followed, though, I would say that my sadness somewhat evolved into anger. Anger around the fact that why me? I consider myself a healthy person. I work out. I try to eat right. I've never even tried any illegal drugs. Anything. Not even marijuana. So I thought, how can my body betray me like this? Why at 43 am I dealing with this? So although, I want to say that you have to allow yourself to feel these emotions so you can work through them, the other thing is you have to stay positive. Now, I truly believe that after surgery, I will be cancer-free. I believe that once they remove the prostate, I will make a full recovery. So I'm trying to focus on the positive, and there's a lot of good within my particular story. Number one, they caught this early. They caught this before it spread. I think that if I would have waited until the age of 50 to have my PSA tested, that may not have been the case. My doctor predicts that I have probably had prostate cancer for about 5 years now. So waiting another 7 before having my PSA level tested would have meant a very different diagnosis. Also, there's a lot of support that I've received from family and friends, and that's meant a lot. Also, being young and healthy, the doctor is optimistic about what recovery could mean for me. I am trying to balance being overly optimistic with being unrealistic about certain aspects of recovery. So, luckily, I have a doctor who won't allow me to expect too much, and especially not too soon after the surgery. So, those are all things that I've had to deal with emotionally in the past few weeks. I'm definitely getting to a place of acceptance where this is now something that, I don't have a choice, that is a reality for me. And figuring out how to channel my energy towards, what's to come. So, if you're like me and not only talking about your emotions, but also kind of how to deal with them is new to you, I just want you to be prepared. I also want you to know that it's normal. It's normal to have those feelings of sadness, but work through it. Work through it. Because at the end of the day, I believe that if you are in the same position that I am, that the cancer has not spread, that you've made the decision to seek treatment, that you can also be cancer-free.